shine so bold. With every move, the stories unfold. We're cheering on the youth from the start to the win. Giving them the mic, let their voices begin. Interviews and highlights, we got it all. GN Sports Show, where the young stand tall. GN Sports, where the youth lead the way. Champions of tomorrow, making waves today. From ages 5 and up, we help them grow. It's their time to shine on the GN Sports Show. GN Sports Show. GN Sports Show.
Welcome to another episode of GN Sports Show. I am your host, Terry Andrew. Listen, we have a packed lineup for you this week. A number of young footballers to talk to. Joining me for co-host will be Clowie Davis. And you remember Clowie, one of our young and upcoming female footballers here at Generation Next. She'll join me co-hosting for a bit. We're going to be speaking with 2 under 15 players here at Generation Next, just to get a feeling of where they're going, what they're doing, what they're trying to do academically and on the football field as well. Also on our show is Generation Next Football Club Hall of Famer Vaughn Jackson, an exciting player. He's a national player as well here in Antigua and Barbuda. I'm excited to talk to him. Yeah, an up and coming footballer that shows a lot of promise. He'll be on our show. We're not only talking football. We'll have members from the Antigua and Barbuda Volleyball Association, some young and upcoming stars over there on the volleyball court. We'll have the hierarchy of the Volleyball Association as well, joining us just to give us their 2 cents on where the game is going here in Antigua and Barbuda. Plus, our doctor in the house, Dr. Rick Millis, continuing his series, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, early specialization in youth sports. What you should do, what you should not do. A word of advice for parents and coaches as well. That should be keen for you to experience. Listen, it's the Generation Next Sports Show. All you need to know right here. We'll be right back.
Our vision is to become the premier platform for showcasing and empowering young student athletes, providing them with the tools and exposure to excel both in sports and life, while shaping the next generation of confident, media-savvy leaders. The GN Sports Show is dedicated to highlighting the talent and stories of young student athletes across all sports disciplines. We aim to equip them with vital media exposure and public speaking skills, helping them grow into confident individuals both on and off the field. Through engaging interviews, mentorship, and real-world media experiences, we strive to foster personal and professional development that supports their athletic journeys.
Welcome back. You're watching GN Sports Show. Of course, I'm your host, Terry Andrew. I'm here with
Clowie Davis.
And we're here with Ethan Camacho, on the 15 Generation Next player, as well as Adrian Fenton. They joined us here for conversations. All right, Ethan, let's start with you. How long have you been playing football and your position?
I started when I was around 3 years old, so I think I've been playing for around 10, 11 years. And I'm currently an attacking midfielder.
Nice. Attacking midfielder. All right. What about you, Adrian?
I've been playing football for around 6 years, and I currently play central midfield.
Central midfield. Yes, you both want the ball.
Yeah.
Are you both selfish?
Sometimes.
Yeah, those positions are some selfish positions. But never mind. All right. Your most memorable game or event since playing football?
My most memorable event has probably been playing for the national side.
Nice. Which one?
I think I first got picked for the U14s.
Okay.
We went to Trinidad and Tobago. Unfortunately, we got
challenge series.
Unfortunately, we got knocked out early in the group stage, but it was a good experience to play for my country.
Nice. And you're training with which one now?
They're on the 16s or 15s, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
And we're going away in July 24th. I think we're going to Aruba.
Nice. Keep honing that craft. Adrian, what about you?
I would say my most memorable game is my first game for Generation Next, when I scored my first goal.
You scored a goal? Nice. What kind of goal?
It was a simple tap-in.
Tap-in.
But it's my first goal.
Those count?
Yeah.
Those count as well? You scoring goals?
So of course, every game.
Yeah? Yeah, I heard your name. When they mentioned your name to you, I heard your name a few times. All right, Clowie, you have any questions for the boys?
Yeah. What school do you attend?
The Antigua Grammar School.
Okay, how about you, Ethan? What school do
I
you
attend the Baptist Academy of Antigua.
You guys ever play against one another in school?
No,
You
no.
guys don't have a team, do you?
Yeah, Baptist do attend in school league and so.
Because they're all smart people up there, that's why, huh?
They just. I couldn't even tell you why, honestly.
All right. Favorite subject?
I'll say maths.
All right. You told me earlier you skip a grade. What's going on there? Are you too smart?
I mean, the teachers believe I'm smart,
What?
but I wouldn't really
Come
say
on,
I'm
they
not
have
smart.
confidence in you, Ethan. Okay. What about you?
POB, I would say.
POB.
Yeah.
What's POB again?
Principle of buildings.
Chloe, you're supposed to be helping me here, Chloe. I don't know. I don't know these subjects. Chloe?
Who's your favorite teacher?
I would say Miss Mac. She teaches English and POB.
Why? Is she
She
easy?
helps me out a lot.
Oh, she helps.
Yeah.
Nice.
How about you, Ethan?
I would say Mr. Bill. He teaches a majority of the sciences, but he's just a funny person, you know. In general, he makes the lessons fun, you know. So that's why he would be my favorite teacher.
Ethan, you are smart. You like sciences and all that. So from biology, chemistry. All
Yeah.
right. You know what I was going to say first? Integrated, because that's where I stopped. The basic of science, that's where I stopped. All right. Hobbies outside of football.
Outside of football, I do pan for my school.
Me too.
Pan.
Pan.
Chloe can relate. Outside of football, hobby outside of football.
I'm a bit into the saxophone. I know how to play the saxophone a bit. I also do some sailing here and there, you know.
You just calling all smart
Just for fun,
things
just
that
for fun.
smart people do. The saxophone. Okay. Is it chilling? Does it chill you when you play or no?
Yeah, it depends on what song you play, really and truly. But yeah, it's just like a hobby, something I do for fun.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really enjoyable.
Nice. So, folks, we have well-rounded footballers here at Generation Next. You're learning about him. He's Ethan, he's Adrian, and she's Chloe. Chloe, I think we should be talking about balancing both academics and is that a challenge for you? Trying to keep up with both?
Sometimes, but sometimes you just have to put in the extra effort, you know, and just get things done.
What about you?
Yeah, same. Sometimes, because sometimes I have work to do, but I also want to play football. So I have to know when to not play football and focus on my schoolwork.
Okay. Did mommy and daddy ever say no? You can't go because your schoolwork is important.
Many times, but
Yeah.
find a way to still go, you know.
Adrian, is that your dad over there?
Yes.
Does he say, Ethan, can't go today because you have schoolwork to do?
Not really.
Okay. Because you guys do well, balancing them well, right? Yeah, it's going to get a bit tougher when you go a little higher, college, and all that. All right. Chloe?
Would you like to shout out anyone? Any family members that help you?
I'd like to shout out my parents because they were the one who got me into sports club, Generation Next.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
How about you, Ethan?
I always like to shout out my parents, motivation, you know, push me on. And also some of my peers who play football with me, they give me the extra push sometimes, you know, that I need.
Nice. All right. So, Chloe went to Brooke House as well, and we heard you went. Chloe?
We know you went to Brooke House College for a few years ago. How was the experience for you?
Overall, I say it's a good experience. More higher quality. It was a bit too cold for my liking, but I still enjoy the football overall.
Nice.
You're on the national under-16 team for A and B. How does it feel to be on the team?
It comes with a sense of pride, but I just have to remember to stay humble and continue playing on and playing my hardest.
All right, Chloe. Chloe, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me here, Chloe. All right, she's Clowie Davis. I'm Terry Adjo. He's Adrian Fenton and Ethan Camacho. Young under 15 players here at Generation Next FC. Listening out for their names in the future. We'll be right back with more right here on GN Sports Show. 6 players and a coach from Generation Next FC Rebels left the island for UK schools as they aim to pursue excellence on the field and in the classroom through a week-long trial. The lone female player on the trip is goalkeeper Alyssa Laviscount, who is heading to Brooke House College to participate in elite training and trials for a potential educational scholarship.
I'm looking forward to starting my journey as a football player and as a young lady, as a young woman. And honestly, I'm just excited to just see what this next chapter holds. From since I was in, I believe, third form, I've wanted to go to a school in England, specifically Brooke House, to further my journey in football. And honestly, this is just a dream come true for me.
The other players are heading to Ackworth School: Jaden Brown, Cole Gardner, Devontae Norris, Sadiq Williams and Zion Phillip, with Coach Graham leading the group of aspiring professional footballers.
Looking forward to experience basically everything, but mostly to see what the kids have learned during training, etc., so they can go and put out their talent so that, you know, they could get a pick.
I'm just expecting to, better my game, become a more technical player overall, just going over there for the experience.
It's exciting. I'm happy for the opportunity to go away and play football abroad and experience a new environment.
I'm very grateful for this opportunity. I thank GNFC for this, and I hope I do good and get the scholarship.
It feels great. I've been actually wanting this opportunity to be able to go up there and just show my talent and hopefully get a scholarship.
I'm looking forward to just the entire experience, just seeing how they play up there, learning from the coaches, and I'm expecting some decent weather at least.
You're watching GN Sports Show. Thank you for staying here with us. Listen, I'm excited about this other player. I only saw 5 minutes of him after hearing that he's one for the future, one to look out for. I saw 5 minutes and I knew in my heart, I think we have something special here. I'm excited for you to meet him as well. A humble young man, of course. His name is Vaughn Jackson. Vaughn, thank you so much for joining us here on GN Sports Show. And Vaughn is also a Hall of Fame Generation Next player as well. How are you, buddy?
Good, I'm good.
Listen, when I found out you're 16 years old, right, and you're almost tall as me, and with touches like what you have, and you saw the reaction yesterday when I met you, it was mind-blowing, but I hope you pan out, brother. I hope you pan out. I know we're going to have a special one. All right, let's start off here. You already made history as a Generation Next Hall of Fame player. How would you describe your journey from, your first kick to now? Talk about that for a bit.
I would say, like, it's not been easy all the time. Sometimes my dad will wake me up early in the morning just to run or to do stretches or something to make my game be better. But it was fun, and it was fun and hard sometimes, but you had to just work hard, I had to just enjoy, although I'm not like happy of what my dad is forcing me to do.
Yeah.
But in the end, it's all working out. So.
But what age you started playing?
I would say 7.
7. Yeah. Dang. Have you always been this tall, or you had a growth spurt when you went to England?
I've always been tall.
Yeah,
sometimes my mom had to, in the Generation X league, sometimes my mom had to bring my passport.
Oh,
sometimes.
So they can verify?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's awesome. You want to be a professional. You're one of the budding ones that want to go on and be a professional. When did you realize that it was more than just playing, going out and playing, that you can even have a career from this?
It was the Generation X Combine when I was told that I have a scholarship to go to Brooke House in England. From there, everything just started to change, let me think forward about professional lifestyle and even living the professional lifestyle how others do.
Yeah, let's go back there. I mean, how much growth have you seen in yourself since you got that scholarship, since you moved on from there, even if you living in England now? Being away from parents for the first time, and I know how that can be a bit frightening at times, but just talk about that. From you got the scholarship, you're going off, and how much growth have you seen in yourself there?
Physically, there's plenty, because they want to kill you with gym work up there. Tactically, everything is different. Like the play style, like is very quick up there to down here, and then you have to adapt quickly, because if you don't adapt, like everything will just pass around you, like everything will just move faster.
How long have you been there now?
2 years now.
2 years.
Yeah.
And you have 2 more to go?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And you've been adapting to the coldness and the intensity of practices and all of that. Has that been difficult?
Sometimes when it's cold, sometimes you have to wear like 3 jackets, 2 gloves, something like that, just to feel like warm, like feel like you're in Antigua again.
And the intensity in training, the intensity in just going from, because I mean, there were a few kids that went there and we came back talked to them. They said they have like a structured thing. You go from one thing to one thing to one thing, and you must keep up that thing throughout. And you've done that for 2 years, buddy.
Like you want to be at the best level you can be at, because there are people at the school like that even having tried for Man United, all type of things like that. So you want to be as better as them or even more better as them. So you have to just keep working hard.
And the schoolwork in the classroom, academics, how are you doing there?
I'm good there, but that's what I would say. It's not like my favorite thing to do, but my mom forced me, so I have to just do it.
They always do that, buddy. They always do that. Sometimes you gotta put your head down and just work. Listen, it won't last forever. Do the best you can in the classroom. But so it's like you have let's say you have math here, then you have gym here, then you have science here, then you have football here. Is it like a day? Tell us about a day.
Day starts 8:15. 8:15 is like mental, so you just go there to like relax your mind to get ready for school. Then after that you have like 2 lessons and then break. Then you have 1 lesson again. Then you have lunch. Then after lunch you have 2 lessons and then football and then dinner. And then you start again for the next day.
Okay. So you must sleep well at night, brother. Yeah. We're just gonna jump a few questions here because I want to talk about this. I saw you came on against Cuba, the World Cup qualifier, 16 years of age. Just talk me through when the coach say, "Hey Vaughn, go warm up."
When he said Vaughn, he had to say like twice, because when he said it, I was like, it's time. And then I started to warm up, and then he called me again. Then he was like, go and do your best. Look on them like they are 16-year-olds. And then he said, go and make history. And then I just went out and then I did my best. And then,
go and make history. Yeah. That's like a movie, brother. That's like a movie. Go and make history. And you went on. Yeah. Listen, I saw a touch there, right? Yeah. When you were facing whoever you got the ball from, and then you turn on the right side and you hit it 1 time. We didn't have a shot all game on target. And you came on, made like 80-something minutes, right? Yeah. And I was like, who is this kid, boy? Who is this kid? Then they told me, that's the guy, Vaughn Jackson, right? Yeah. And I'm like, no way. No. So when you turn right and you fired, right? Yeah. And I'm like, we were watching a football game for 90 minutes. I won't go too long. And for maybe the last 6 or 7, or last 6 or maybe, with the extra time, we got a shot from a 16-year-old brother. I mean, you didn't look 16 out there to me. Yeah. I thought that was crazy, right? But when you took the touch and you turn yourself and you set your own shot and you fired, I was like, okay, who is this kid? You know what I mean? And I'm sure that was me just looking, right? I know there are other people out there that were like, no. And I know they didn't realize that you were 16. All right, you usually play on the left side and you're known for your creativity. Just take me through when you line up a defender. What you do to get past him?
First, I look behind like the space I have behind, so what I can do to like get past him, because sometimes I don't like to go back, because in England they don't like when you like play back or sideways. They like when you like be straightforward. So you look on the space behind the defender, then you try to get him off balance, then you try to go past him. Yeah.
So you're fast too? Because I mean, I didn't get to see speed the other day. I saw technique though. I saw technique.
Some people think I'm fast, some people think I'm slow, but on the ball I'm quick. Like my decision making is quick.
Yeah. Listen, I've heard a lot about you before I met you. I'm telling you, I only saw 5 minutes and I was impressed. All right, you're part of the team of on the 17s. Where were you guys again?
Guatemala.
Guatemala, yes, I know, somewhere down there. I think you guys beat St. Vincent. That was the only match you guys won.
Yeah.
That Haiti match, just between me and you.
Yeah.
If we had defenders that just stood up and allowed guys, they got 3 penalties, right?
Yeah.
You remember that match? Yeah? I wanted to kick down my TV. As serious, I wanted to kick down my TV. If they just stood up, it would have been a shot or a block or something. But everybody keep diving in, and that just messed the whole thing up. Haiti's going to the World Cup now. How you feel about that? And I didn't think they were. I mean, they were good. They were passing good, but I didn't think they were that great. But sorry. I think yeah. But how you feel? How you feel about you played against Haiti? Now Haiti's on their way to the Under 17 World Cup.
Some of the players on Haiti team, like they were saying like all of our players on our team is like good, but Haiti team is like they didn't fear. They just played football. But in our team we had a little bit of fear mixed with a little bit of confidence. So when we mix them together, it won't match up to the energy that Haiti have when all of them is confident to even go beyond the group stage, and they went beyond the group stage. And
were you the captain in that thing?
Yeah.
Oh man, talk about leadership. Talk about leadership and what it takes to, as in lead your peers in out there.
When others are listening, it can be easy, but when they are not listening, it can be hard sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to go to the coach. Sometimes you have to take matter into your own hands. Like you have to manage it. But it was great leading my national team. It was something to always. I would always dream about something like that, and then happening. It was.
Okay, so what type of leader are you? Let me tell you the different type of leaders. There's a John Terry leader that he put his body in anything. So he'll go. Listen, he's a crazy man.
Yeah.
He'll play it like that. Puyol, centre back for Barcelona. He's that type of leader too. You know Roy Keane? He used to be with Manchester United. He's an old leader. He's the battle leader. If you touch his player, he's going after you. What type of leader are you?
I would say
you're the quiet one?
Yeah, I'm the quiet one, but I can be the Roy Keane one sometimes.
Yeah, no, we don't want the Roy Keane one. We don't want the Roy Keane one because he gets more red cards as anything, but he's still a good player. All right, the Manchester City hookup. You had a stint there, showing your talent, showing your skills. I read that during the ABS Evening Sports, and I was like, no. And you got a good review. Tell me about that experience.
It was good. Growing up on TV, like you can see like everything on TV. Now when you're in real life, you're going to see it's like, wow. And then going out onto the pitch, playing with excellent players, it was easy to like adapt because, as I said, the training in Brooke House is quick, so everything there was quick also. Then I scored in that was like my third touch into the game. I scored, and then from there everything.
So you've been doing this all along. So if you had scored against Cuba, that wouldn't be anything to you because that was your first touch and you fired at will there, and they liked you over there. Those are conditions that you love to play in.
Yeah, of course.
Over there.
That's what I'm like going for right now, like to sign to be a professional player.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going for right now.
That would be a dream come true, though.
Yeah.
How do you think Daddy would feel?
I think I can't even see. Like I think he would feel like extraordinary. Like the money I've spent on me, like nah. It's
okay,
cool.
hold on here. I saw your mom on the sideline at PM.
Yeah.
She get excited too.
Yeah.
She get excited as well.
Sometimes, like all the time, like I would say, like they motivate me. Every training, every game, they're there. Like I have to be motivated because they're there all the time.
Yeah, and having your parents back you throughout, that must be important, brother.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. Awesome. All right, we talked about your national team debut at 16. Who inspires you? Either a footballer or, well, other than your parents, because you told me they motivate you. Who inspires you?
I would say like I won't say like football players. I would say like my friends, God, like my friends, like all of us were close to God. So like being in England, like you can be influenced by bad people and good people. And when I went to England, I was influenced by great people.
Good. Yeah, I like, man, and you're 16, and when you guys have that head on, man, do you wear a belt all the time?
Nah, not really.
Okay, so that's the problem. That's the problem. That's the problem. I think we need to invent a law that you guys gotta wear belts. I'm just putting that out. But you don't sag like the others, right?
Not really.
Okay, good. So you wear them skinny tight ones that stick?
Nah.
Oh, jeez, brother. All right. Yeah, because I think they need to make a law. All 16-year-olds, 15, 16, go up. Yeah. They have to wear leather all the time. I hate that stuff. But I'm good. It's good that you're influenced by the right people, especially when parents are not around and you follow the good club. You seems like you have a good head on. That's okay. All right. When people say you're the one to watch, we're one for the future, does that put extra pressure on you?
Nah, I wouldn't say put extra pressure, but I would say like put like more push on me to like even do better, even to go even higher than where I'm at now.
Yeah.
And when they say like I'm the one to watch, like I've always been the one to watch. So
coming up in the different age groups. Yeah. So it comes like a normal thing now. Yeah. Okay. Nice. All right. If you have one message for young Generation Next footballers and young footballers all across Antigua and Barbuda, what would that be? Because you know some of them are going to be looking up to you, right? Yeah. Especially now you come through the ranks of Generation X and you going off to Brooke House where they would want to be one day. What would be your message to them?
I would say like just believe in what you're doing, stay consistent in everything you're doing, and first off believe in God and trust that everything will be all right with Him, and then just keep on working hard, keep on taking on the right messages. You hear good message and bad message, but take on the good one, because sometimes the bad one can even bring you down sometimes, but take on good messages and keep on working hard.
Nice. Did you set any goals for the next year?
Next year,
the next 12 months?
I would say like I want to be faster. I want to let my game go up more. I want to work on the things that I need to work on, and also I want to like be closer to even signing. Like I want to sign at my best, and then after that can even put Antigua on the map.
Nice. We would love that, brother. We would love that. Folks, remember the name, Vaughn Jackson Jr. He's one for the future. Trust me, I only saw 5 minutes and I saw something that, if that continue, he can be one that we'll be calling a professional sooner rather than later. Vaughn, thank you so much for joining me. I'm still impressed, brother. I'm still impressed. Keep going. Make mommy and daddy proud. All right, he's Vaughn Jackson, an aspiring professional footballer. We'll be right back here on GN Sports Show.
GN Sports Show.
Welcome back to GN Sports Show. I am Terry Andrew, your host. Well, listen, we don't only do football here. We are multi-sports here on GN Sports Show. So we have some young volleyballers, and we're going to talk to them. I'm excited to learn because I know nothing about volleyball, but I know they're going to teach me. All right, she's Felicia Burnett. He's Darren Williams, and this is Junior Joseph. Guys, thank you so much for joining us on GN Sports Show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah. We don't use our inside voice here.
Okay, sorry.
We use the other one. Okay. All right. Junior, let's start with you. What inspired you to start playing volleyball?
What inspired me to start playing volleyball? Well, my sister actually inspired me to play volleyball because we have this competitive type of spirit between us. Mm-hmm. Like, I can do better in this sport, I can do better in this sport. So she really pushed me to start playing volleyball.
Who's your sister?
Jasania Joseph.
For real?
Yeah.
Man, she's a star.
That's what they say.
I was just seeing I was following them, the beach volleyball thing in St. Kitts. Yeah. On the Sunday night, I had to get my story out. I thought, I was already writing that they're winning, but I had to change my headline. But so she. Yeah. That's a good competitor.
I mean, yeah.
That's a good competitor.
Like, I told her, give me 3 years, and I'm gonna be on the national team.
Boy, that's scores.
Of course,
scores.
I'm trying my hardest, though. Hardest.
So how did you get into volleyball, though? How did you start?
Well, I started with the Chargers organization.
Okay.
My mom signed me up one time, and I was like, okay, this seems cool, and I just continued from there.
Chargers, that's what was it then?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, I know some things, but I know something. Darren, what about you? How did you start?
Well, actually, I didn't know anything about the sport at all.
So you just went there one day?
Okay, one day someone just contacted me. They're like, Chargers Volleyball Club. This was back when it just created. They're like, there's practice on Saturday at 1 o'clock and you should show up. So I show up and I realize I'm the only guy there. And I honestly thought that volleyball was a woman's sport until I actually watched it and I found out it's not a woman's sport. Man. And then I found out I'm insanely short for a player, especially in the guys. Like, it feels terrible. But I kept practicing, I kept going practices. I actually have the record for not missing a single practice.
Oh boy.
Yes.
You know what's the best ability? Availability. That is. You guys take that one. That's T right there. Take that one. What about you, Felicia?
So basically, I went to YMCA one day to play netball, right? And I went and I got the coach's number and everything, Miss Knight, I think. And then the next day I went there again and my friend was going volleyball. There was a netball there at the time, yeah. I said, let me go and play volleyball. I just see volleyball on TV now. So I thought netball was volleyball. But then when I go in there, I was like, oh, so this is volleyball? And then that netball coach never saw me again. I'm telling you, I don't know what she did with my daddy number, but she never saw me again. And after that, I've been raised through like school leagues, and so I've just been growing through that.
There's something about that facility over at YMCA. It pulls people. Listen, I figured it out. I figured it out. No, listen, I will come, right? I would hear the screaming from over the ABS, and I will come over and I will peep in and watch a few matches, you know, when the older ones are playing. I'm just going to work when the school is playing, so I really can't come immediately. So, no, but something about that facility that pulls people, and I'm glad that you guys are there, being a part of it.
Yes.
Being a part of it all. Junior, back to you. You're part of the young national squad?
Well, yeah. Well, more like I snuck into the practice, but we're not going to talk about that.
Dedication.
Oh, man. Okay, can you describe a typical day for you?
A typical day?
Volleyball.
I know. How do I put it? Gruesome. Just gruesome.
I thought volleyball was fun.
Okay. It's fun when you have the ability.
Okay. But it takes time. You've been playing for 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years.
That's a start.
Yeah, it's a good start, hopefully.
Yeah. Darren, what about you? How do you mentally prepare for games?
So I actually used to just go head first into the game a year ago. I just show up to the place maybe an hour ago and I just straight into the game without a single thing in my mind. But nowadays I actually go to the games, like an hour later, I either sit down with my team because I'm the captain. So I sit down, I discuss with them plans, game plans, all of that sort. Or I actually just listen to music.
Felicia, how do you get ready for YMCA daytime?
Every day.
You go every day?
Practically, it's my second home, trust.
Yeah? Man. Wilbur have done something with the place, man, where you guys call that your second home. Yeah.
Okay, so like for my game or
just daily,
daily, I go to school every day, so I basically have to walk with my big gym bag on my shoulder every day. Carry that through my school halls because I don't remember my locker password, so I just carry it through me. And then afterwards, I reach YMCA, I change, and I when I'm with my friends, like I just get in the mood to play volleyball. They push me to my hardest. My coaches push me to my hardest. So then it just comes like naturally to me for me to be in a good mood for volleyball, even if I have a bad day.
You represent the country at youth level before?
Yes.
What age got you?
On the 23.
On the 23. Wait, how old are you?
I'm 16.
Are you playing on 23?
Yeah, I think I was 14 at the time. It was in 2023.
Wow. Tell us about that experience. I'm intrigued now. Felicia, go on. Tell us about that experience.
Okay. It was a good experience. I got pulled from school league. My coach, Mr. Lewis, he saw my talent and he said, he recommended me. At first, I didn't get chosen because, I don't know, the coach wasn't there to choose. So somebody came and chose for her. But then she came back and she had a retrial. Coach Rosie, she had a retrial.
yes.
And when she came back, she saw the potential. She chose me, and I started to train in 2023. I think it was in June. So in June, we trained the whole summer going down. The tournament was in September. And like close to September, they started training me as a libero. I didn't know what a libero was because remember, I was only playing school league for that time.
Okay.
So I went home, I did my research. I realized, a libero is a defensive specialist. So I set my mind towards that. And my coach, she herself is a senior libero. You know, she won the title and so in the tournament back. So I basically just went and I trained. I never missed a practice. I think I went away one time during the summer. And the day I came back from the airport, I went to YMCA for my training.
After all, it's your second home. Yeah, but I mean, it seems like you've been around for a while. Just some of the lessons you've learned.
I've learned that having a good team and having a good teammate, especially good coaches too, having that community around you to keep pushing you. Even when you feel your worst, you know you just have the energy around to keep pushing you. They push you to, even on your worst days, they will push you. And even when you feel like you reach somewhere in the sport, they will keep pushing because they know you can reach more than where you feel you are.
When you see other countries, you play in other countries, you see other young girls like yourself, I mean, does that even push you more to even want to be, better than they are?
Of course.
And think outside of Antigua now.
Of course, because I'm thinking I have to make my coaches proud. I have to make my coaches' hard work shine through me. I have to make sure Antigua gets recognized. It's like put more pressure on me, and it's more like me putting more pressure on myself to make it known that my coach's hard work did not just go to waste.
You know what I like you said too, when you went home and you researched, so you're doing the work outside of training.
Yes.
And that's the part where I think if we do that, boy, we can be world beaters one time. All right, Darren, let's jump back over to you. Most memorable match, most memorable tournament. Anything stood out for you, man?
Okay, actually, my most memorable match was recently. That was May the 28th, I think, against Stoneville.
You remember the date? Yeah,
yes.
Nice. Go ahead.
It was a great game. First set, it was 3 sets out of 3. It's best of 3. So first set, we actually lost by a lot. Everybody's heads were down. It was bad. We had to pick ourselves up for the second set, and we fought. When I tell you, we fought.
I love those.
You just get that spirit from somewhere, and it just builds up, and it's great.
I love those, man.
And we won the second set, and then the third set, which goes to 15 because it usually goes to 25. It went to 15, and we fought for that. We won that by only 2 points. It was so close. Everybody put in their all for that. Even me, I lost my voice by the end of that match. I couldn't speak. By the time the match was done, I was on the floor dying. I couldn't even.
And it's young people like yourself, right?
Yes.
Man, actually, I love those, boy. I love those.
Yeah, it's actually people that we all know and get along with, because we actually just, before the match, we're just talking so casually, like if we're just friends. And then all of a sudden we're on the court and we're just at each other's necks.
But locked in, right?
Very.
Man, that's sports, boy. That's sports. That's the part that we like. That's the part that we like. Junior, what about you? You have a memorable match, a memorable...
It actually is the same.
The same game?
Because when I tell you they've been beating us, when we won, it touched something.
All that hard work paid off, right?
Yes.
Man, that's sports right there. That's sports. And you guys are just experiencing it. That would be amazing. All right, there's one thing in volleyball that I can hear from over ABS. After every point, there's a celebration, right? There's a celebration. Which is no. Listen. That is a good thing. That is a good thing, because in football, right? And football is my thing. When some people score a goal, they just walk back to the middle like nothing happened. But you guys you go to 25 for the first 2, and then 15 for the last, if it goes all the way, right? So that's over 50 points there that you're celebrating, and the other team too. Man, I admire you guys. And I know the bosses are up next, right? But I'm seeing younger faces in volleyball over and over. Every time I come on PP, and I'm like, oh, nice. This is a new set. No, honestly, and that is a good thing. That keeps it going. And you guys are in a sport that nurture young people, and I really admire that. So kudos to you guys. Anything that we didn't touch that you guys want to say?
Oh, yes, me.
Go ahead. Tell
I
me.
would like to say, thank you for all the coaches and the community of YMCA for pushing us to do our best. Even when we felt like we couldn't do it anymore, you could always turn to the shoulder, turn to one of the coaches and talk to them. All of them will open up their heart, their homes and everything to you. They look out for you. YMCA is like a community. It's not just a community, it's like a family. Everybody's looking out for each other. True.
I know that.
So you have to you always have to say thank you, and you always have to be very appreciative for the little family that you have.
Awesome stuff. Anything you want to add?
Well, I just want to say, it's almost like saying thank you to everybody down there, because when you really start, you just feel welcome. It's not any awkward vibes. It's just it's just a welcome. It's
environment.
It's just calming, and it's the most motivational set of people I could say I've ever met.
Nice. What about you?
I honestly don't know where I would be without volleyball.
Yeah.
It's more than a sport, I can tell you that. Most people think it's just a sport. Most people think that for anything until they actually start doing it. When you start playing volleyball, you meet a ton of people, you make opportunities for yourself. And when you actually put in that work, it just feels so much more better. You feel so great about yourself. Yeah, it's like
That's it.
you start anywhere with
That's the right
something and you work to the top. You make a ton of mistakes, which is completely fine.
Yep.
You're going to have people that are going to tell you otherwise, but you just don't listen to them. You just keep pushing.
And I'm sure, not to cut you off, I'm sure you guys are telling your friends that don't play volleyball, right? That, hey, you guys got to join, get on the bandwagon, right?
Yes.
That's what we do in football too, but it don't always work. But, I mean, you guys got to try. You guys got to keep this thing going. Right? All right. Thank you guys so much. Darren Williams, Felicia Burnett, Junior Joseph, young volleyballers here in Antigua and Barbuda. Yeah, we're going to be looking out for them as well. Yeah. If you want to see, pop in at YMCA. Do like me. Pop in at the Westgate on the western side if you don't want to sit. And I'm sure you'll see the next crop of volleyballers here in Antigua and Barbuda. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us. All right. We have more right here on GN Sports Show. We'll be right back.
GN Sports Show.
Welcome back. We're still here on GN Sports Show, still talking volleyball. We have the hierarchy of the Volleyball Association here in Antigua and Barbuda. To my right, there's the president of the Volleyball Association, Wilbur Harrigan, and to my left, floor member, Harris Lewis. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here on GN Sports Show.
Thank you. And thank you very much for the invitation.
Awesome. Listen, so speaking to the younger ones, we heard what drew them in and what's keeping them there at YMCA. You've been doing this for over 2 decades.
Long time.
It can't be the same thing for you that for them, because I know you're the president. Started as a player and worked your way up. Now you're the president. What keeps you going?
Young ones. The opportunity to see them grow.
Yeah.
We started at the bottom, and we decided that we will make volleyball the number 1 sport in Antigua and Barbuda. Well, in time, we're almost there.
The kids spoke about the community at YMCA, and YMCA is a home away from home. I'm sure that was the aim, and that's the goal in attracting them.
It's all about the youths. And you may ask, what keeps me there is the vision that one day these youths will grow up to be more special than they are right now. And we could do with what is very, very short, sponsorship. And if we get sponsorship, we will do more. And we're working on that.
Okay. Mr. Lewis, let me bring you in here. You two came to the ranks from a player all the way to the president, no floor member. No floor member. You've seen the growth. You see what attracts these kids to YMCA. What keep you going?
Let me step back a little. You said about the growth, but the growth started about 30 years ago between myself and Mr. Harrigan. And it didn't really start with just the players or anything. What it started with, we were at a tournament overseas, and Wilbur said, we can't do anything with the present crop that we have. We have to get people from young age, teach them the basics so that they can grow in the sport and improve. Wilbur went on and had a chat with the then Minister of Sports, Mr. Bernard Percival, and organized the school league. Since the school league have come on stream, our program have just been growing. Meaning every year there's about 100 school children playing volleyball, and then at the end of their school year they come out and they join teams. So we have been going place. That was working, but he stayed one thing that was killing us. Whenever we playing and a little drizzle come, everything stopped. So he said we had to get something organized, and he said, look, you have to design something. And we got together and we squeezed the money out of rocks and stone and blocks, and we got over there. And that is what is paying dividends.
Okay, you spoke about sponsorship. See, like in football, there's FIFA. In volleyball, is there
FIVB?
FIVB.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it is. But they give you just equipment.
Oh, okay.
You don't get money. In recent times, we manage to get some sponsorship, and we're getting more and more sponsorship. But let's put it this way. You cannot attract sponsorship with mediocrity. You have, and Harris just spoke about the basics. If you could master the basics, it's the best game. It is the ultimate team sport, volleyball. Ultimate team sport. And the beauty about volleyball is it's a bridge. If you pass a ball and it's not complete, the second person who is receiving the ball is supposed to improve on the handling of the ball, and the third one will execute. So again, you cannot dribble a ball anywhere. You depend on your colleague. That is what drew me to going to the utmost, or the ultimate.
I mean, over your years, I'm sure you've seen many proud moments. Do you have one that's at the top of your tree when it comes to proud moments in volleyball in Antigua and Barbuda?
There are many, but one of them is having started a junior league.
Okay.
We were growing the older folks. Their aches and pains and everything else, we had. But the real McCoy was to start the school league. At one point we had some 25 teams, 25 teams at the school league. And then you move a little further, and it so happened that you sit down, and on Sunday, this is the second year of junior league. It took me a little while in order for my colleagues to recognize the beauty of volleyball must lie in the junior league. Because this is where you get a feeder system from.
Yeah.
And last year was good. This year is that much better. And I'm saying by the time we pull them together, it's going to be that much greater next year.
Yeah, so Mr. Harris, the junior league and the amateur league, that's the same thing?
Kind of.
Okay.
One feeds the next.
Oh.
Let me go a little further, as he said, the youth. We have our tournament going, and our leagues, and our national team, and everything. But each feed the next. The school league feed our junior team feed the senior league feed the national team. All these people now on the national team came to the school program, they went to the youth team, and they have graduated. No, he doesn't want to say, but I will say for him, no, his greatest moment is coming, and that's going to be in Mexico in August. Our team have won all the levels going up, and now we are at the next level going on to Natsika Pan American.
Okay.
And those came because they were stepping the stone coming up. So now we're reaching that level. We're going to Mexico.
Okay, so Nausicaa is
the equivalent to CONCACAF.
To CONCACAF. Okay.
Caribbean.
Okay.
FIVB is world. Nausicaa is the Caribbean and North America.
Okay. And in August, what team is that?
The senior national team is going to Pan American Games because we won the OECS competition here in Antigua, and that's the next level. And then from there, it's World Cup qualifier if we can go so far.
But we're dreaming big, right?
We were dreaming big, and we're still dreaming.
We're still dreaming, remember?
Listen, last 2022, and before that, but we just was not able to go forward. Money was a problem at that level. For example, we could do some sponsorship. To go to Pan American Games in August is 70,000 US to take a team. Enough money.
Yeah.
So therefore, as we continue to go, we know people out there, we're looking for sponsorship, league and otherwise, and no sponsorship is too small. But we'll take it whenever we can.
Yeah, and that tournament you spoke with, that would give eyes on Antigua and Barbuda players.
Ekwa?
Yeah.
Yes. Because after you win the... I'm going to blow Wilbur trumpet a little more.
Go ahead. Listen, this is a combo. Go ahead.
Wilbur went to Natsika, and before we had ECVA, we had OECS.
Okay.
But he was loose-knit. Wilbur went to Natsika and asked them to organize a tournament, a league, a body, a zone for us here, because we were being pushed aside when we came up against Jamaica and Barbados. We were just always being pushed aside because we weren't good enough to compete and go further. So we had our own zone where we would play, and now we are being looked upon because we're winning, and when we go further, St. Lucia or St. Vincent, when they go further, they show up and they show themselves, just as we are now going on. So now we're making a name, and ECVA in Natsika commands about 16 votes. So we are looked upon and we are asked, what can I do for you? Because we have votes.
Yep.
And when we go further, we are looked upon. When we go to FIVB, we are looked upon because we have votes.
Yeah, they say Anguilla and some of these teams are ranked 200 and something in the world in FIFA, right? But guess what? They have the same one vote like Brazil does, like the English does.
Yes.
Yeah. So that carries some weight, though.
And it's not about me. Thank you, Harris, but it's not about me. In our thrust to make volleyball the number one sport, and let me tell you, if you get hooked on volleyball, you're in trouble.
Yeah, like some of these kids. Like some of these kids.
15 years old, and they show up, and parents are concerned, why are they going there? While they're there, a prerequisite that you must do your homework.
Yeah.
So they come, they bring their books, they sit down, they do the homework, and then they play ball. So I'm saying to you, it's a family.
Yeah, that's why it's a home away from home.
It's a family. And discipline. And I could tell you, we've never had a drug problem knowingly in there. Now we have a little bit of, everybody's spliffing, but prior to that.
Terrible. That throughout all sports right away.
Prior to that, you couldn't discipline was high. That is what we did right there.
So yeah, now the association is taking a keen interest in the educational opportunities for some of these young players. Yeah, talk about that for a bit.
Okay. We had a problem. And the problem was academic qualification.
This is for scholarships and so.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
we never had the beauty of 5 and 7 and 15 and 20 O levels or A levels. So scholarship people come and look at us play, very happy. But you go up, you realize you don't have maths and English, sorry, can't help you.
Yeah.
So we realize if we go to in the schools and we try to encourage the kids, they level. And with the level of performance in school, I mean, some of those people there, the young, 2 of them persons walked away with 2 scholarships. We had a tournament 3 weeks ago.
That's the UE.
UE
Yes.
came here. And they spied on us because we screen our games. They came, they wanted to do it. They studied us in and out. We didn't know this. They laughed. So they came here and we gave them a time of their life. It's the best games they've had in 8 to 10 years. Competition. And we want, our players just was not ready. They saw it as, so they did not mentally and physically prepare for the games.
Okay.
So, but still, they were very, very happy, and we were able to obtain 2 and maybe 2 more scholarships. 2 of them, I think, Junior and the young lady.
Felicia.
They had scholarship. They got a scholarship waiting on them, and we're looking for 2 more players.
This is UE here or UE Mona?
UE here.
UE here. Okay.
UE
okay.
here.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
No, they influence everything.
Okay.
UE Jamaica, and UE Antigua, and UE Barbados, UE Trinidad.
Yeah.
Trinidad didn't come and Barbados didn't come because they thought Antigua. But I know they're coming back.
When Jamaica tell them all the fun that they had here and the competition.
You, I mean, there's a Dr. Guy Chong. Is the longest press release I've seen in my entire life. He couldn't stop talking about, and I mean, he turned around and he said, listen, let me tell you something. I'm giving you straight up. Your volleyball program is up here and Jamaica is down here. We're the only sporting entity with their own facility.
Yeah.
Nobody else in the entire region.
I really thought that would have been one of their proudest moments, is having that facility. I really thought that would have been up there when I asked about proudest moment about having the facility. But not to cut you off there, we're running close. But Mr. Harris, what does the year look, 2020, the rest of the year look, 2025 for volleyball?
When we leave here, it gets more busy.
Yeah.
We have been asked by Nautica to host a Final Four, meaning the Final Four of both competition, male and female. We're going to host them in September. And the winners from those are going on to Pan American Games again. That's female and male. So we're going to have the male nationals of the 4 countries along with male and female here. And we were also asked by Nautica to host the youth tournament that none of the other countries are able to host.
So that facility gives us an up on.
It gives us a leg up on everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Man. So even if they're not participating, they're seeing some of these top teams come over here and see how these cheers.
And I want to say something. I just want to give an individual a plug, which I have not been able to do. You know this guy they call Jojo?
Yeah.
He works for another radio station.
Yeah.
Jojo, I've helped volleyball. I want to thank him because each time he picks on me and says President for life. But I'm saying to you, I want to thank Jojo because by doing that, He has helped volleyball to be the popular sport that it will become here. Jojo, thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Go back to you for a bit. Some of the key initiatives that the association is implementing for some of the young talent across the island to continue to nurture that young talent across the island. I know you mentioned the leagues and feeding different up.
Well, we want them to come out and play because we are also looking to get them further on. We have he mentioned a couple, but we have a couple of other people going off on scholarship, and we're still looking for more to get them going, because those that went away and are back home now, they have made our game stronger. They have made our national team stronger. So later on, those are going to be our other coaches as they move away from the actual playing. So we are waiting for them to get into that and make our program stronger.
Is the beach volleyball section of it, is it on par with what you guys do inside?
No.
So are you guys just starting?
There.
Okay.
It's getting there,
nice,
but
nice.
It's a little difficult to get the parents to buy in to bring their kids to the beach to play. But it's going.
Yeah. Because I was telling the kids that I was following the Jasiana and and I forgot the other girl, Joseph.
They are now going off next month to Santo Domingo because they were second in Sunday, and their next program was going to be in November, but it has been moved up.
Okay.
So they have to start getting ready to go off.
Okay, so coming second, that them and St. Lucia moved on too.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first three teams will go ahead.
We'll go on.
And I'm saying to you, we're small, but we're tolerant.
Yeah, we hear
I want
that.
to say to you, let me get another plug as we're here. There's a guy named Adrian Constant who went away to university.
Yeah.
And did wonderful.
He's a high flyer.
And I just leave it in there. He did wonderful. Made us proud. And so they feel that we could play volleyball here, or some of us could play volleyball here. And I'm saying to you, we will become the number one sport here. But
did they come calling, say, hey, you guys have any more Adrians down there?
They're looking for them. But again, some of them, you're going to want to go away too, you know.
Yeah.
We have a little problem at time with individuals who want to get up and go because it's hard work, eh?
Yeah.
It's when you're over there, the discipline is unbelievable, right? And they have to be able to step up to the plate to continue to make us proud.
Just the vision for volleyball. Have you guys reached your peak, or you have much more to go?
When we hit Mexico, I would say we hit our goal and then we start over. Because by the time we hit that goal, we're going to be looking for new players to be coming through and going up.
Okay. And you guys see the progress every year, so you know people are going to come. It's just to kind of plan to it. And you guys educate coaches. What you guys call them referee? Match officials?
Yes.
Referee and coaches. Yeah. And that's another part of the association. We're trying to get a lot of our coaches certified.
Okay.
Not only our coaches, but our referees. We have now referees that are certified and coaches are being certified. So we're pushing the game in every level so that we can move forward.
What I said to you, beach is king.
Yeah?
Beach volleyball is the Olympic number one sport. And we, by sitting and deciding, we agreed that we will strengthen the indoor game first.
Okay.
Because it's by the indoor, you go from the indoor to the beach.
Okay. Yeah.
And we are saying we are now ready, feel we are, and we will take on the beach. And we are going to go there. It's cheaper too, because only 3 persons per team.
Oh, 3, okay.
2 teams and a coach.
Okay.
And if we could continue to grow the beach, we get greater recognition and continue to put Antigua and Barbuda on the map.
Well, gentlemen, you guys given us a mouthful here on GN Sports Show. We thank you guys for gracing us with your presence. I know we can talk the rest of the night about volleyball. We can talk the rest of the night about volleyball. President Wilbur Harrigan and floor member Harris Lewis joined us here on GN Sports Show to talk volleyball. And I know you have a wealth of knowledge now about the Antigua and Barbuda Volleyball Association. We have more to come right here on GN Sports Show. We'll be right back.
GN Sports Show.
We would like to thank the sponsors of Generation Next, Fruta, Antigua Masonry Products, Kenneth A. Gomez Insurance Agency, Island Photo, and Francis Trading Agency.
GN Sports Show.
All right, welcome back to GN Sports Show. We're still here. More information here on the Sports Show. Now, we have a special guest, Dr. Rick Millis. And he has a specialized series in the good, the bad, and the ugly, early specialization in youth sports. Dr. Rick, we meet in person finally.
Very good. Nice meeting you.
We don't have a whole screen in front of us.
And why do you call me special? I'm not a special guest. I'm a regular guest. Come on, I'm not that special.
Maybe I'm the special guest.
Yes, actually you are.
I'm the special guest.
By the way, can I have your autograph? You're doing very well.
I'll try. All right, where are we here? Specializing in youth sports.
So the interesting thing about specialization in youth sports is that we have the idea that is when you specialize in a sport very early, let's say before the age of 7 to 12, that those are the kids that become great athletes, the elite athletes, the professional athletes, because they've done it for so long. They've got the best muscle memory.
Okay.
And there's some evidence for that. Some of them do. But if you look at professional athletes, the majority of them did not specialize. Those are the ones that between the ages of 7 and 12 were doing a lot of different sports.
Okay.
Now, why is that? First of all, when you specialize very early, you're more susceptible to injuries when you're in the developing stages of your body and they don't recover, especially from repetitive injuries. You know, you keep doing the same thing over and over again, using the same muscles. But those kids that now switch from one sport to another, let's say during this school season they're doing one sport, but during the summer they're doing 2 or 3 other sports, now they get a chance to synchronize their muscles. Different muscle groups. They're not using the same muscle group over and over again. They are developing this brain muscle memory better, and their cartilage. You know, the main protein in the body is collagen that makes up cartilage and all of the connective tissues. And these connective tissues need to organize themselves. So when you start too early, they get disorganized. When you start when you optimize your sports using different modalities, you know, different sports, you then get a chance to your collagen, your cartilage, all those connective tissues tend to be more organized. And then as you use them, they actually get stimulated. You make more, they get thicker. Where when you start too early, they thin down actually. They degrade. So there's something special about the age between 7 and 12 that's ideal for developing all these different muscle groups.
Okay. So when you're between that ages, you're saying, listen, I can play basketball, I can play football, I can play cricket, because that helped the cartilage, strengthen the cartilage.
Exactly. As long as that's not overdone. Now here's a little bit of a problem. I think on this island there's about 50-60% of kids who are eligible for youth sports that participate, right? Probably the other 40 to 50% are not. Now we have to worry about them a little bit, because the research shows that 90% of the kids now who are developing type 2 diabetes, you heard of that?
Yeah.
It's an epidemic among children. We didn't have that before. It's probably because of all the processed foods and all the sugar they're eating, right? Well, we know that that's probably the case. poor nutrition, poor lifestyle, sedentary lifestyle. They're not getting enough physical activity. 90% of the kids in that category are the ones that develop type 2 diabetes, who don't get enough physical activity. So we really have to worry about them. On the other hand, let's look at the ones who are participating. The ones that are participating, a lot of their parents are pushing them to repeat the same sport over and over again, to become one of these elite athletes, because they're not aware of the problem. And they look at sports as a way out of maybe poverty, maybe a way out of a bad home life, and they think, oh, I'm going to become an athlete, a professional athlete, an elite athlete. I'm going to go get a scholarship to college. We heard about that before. And they push them, and they push the kids, and then they experience these overuse injuries. And these overuse injuries, sometimes you can't come back from. Once they start as a child, for example, you heard of shin splints?
Yeah.
Yeah. We just heard from volleyballers. Well, volleyballers, basketball players, people who play on a hard surface, track and field participants, they develop these shin splints, which are micro tears in the muscles and tendons in the legs. And once they develop, it's very, very hard for them to heal. And that collagen I told you about, that protein in the connective tissue and in the muscle, gets disorganized, and it never comes back. So you see the problem.
So what you pan out, that you think would pan out for them when they're 15, 16, is like wore them down by the time they get to
Yeah, they're more susceptible as adults to osteoarthritis, to breakdown of joints, and all this kind of stuff. So I've had personal experience with this, because at my advanced age, I'm still playing, and I'm, getting ready for knee replacements. But I'll tell you a funny story. So about 30 years ago, I was friendly with, and I'm friendly with several professional athletes, especially in the NBA. And I won't mention this guy's name, but was an outstanding athlete, and he became a U.S. Senator. He became a United States Senator. You might even know him, but I'm not going to mention his name. And about 30 years ago, because I was teaching at a medical school in Washington, D.C. for about 40 years, and I saw him, and I said, hey, let's play some basketball. So tomorrow I'm going to be 80. So 30 years ago, I was 50. And he was probably 52, right? And he was a U.S. Senator. And I said, you should invite me to the U.S. Senate, because I had a great gym there to play basketball. And he says, oh, man, I gave that up 5 or 6 years ago. I said, why? He said he gave up the sport because it was too frustrating for him. He couldn't do the things he could as an NBA player anymore, and it was too frustrating for him. And here I am. Of course, I was never an NBA player, but I played on the national basketball championship team in 1967, probably way before your grandparents were born. And in those days, I wasn't a starter. I wasn't a great athlete, but I loved the game, and I loved the competition. And somehow, at a young age, I learned that the value of what I was doing was not in the winning, although of course, you always play to win. I love to win. But sometimes I wasn't sad and depressed from losing. Maybe that's why I never went to the NBA. I wasn't depressed from losing, because to me, I just loved the game. I loved playing. I loved the competition. And I said, well, I just wasn't good enough that day. And so I shook it off. And that's why I think I continued. Well, I felt really bad for this guy, an ex-NBA player, who now, when I was looking at him, he had a big pot belly. He gained a lot of weight. And he didn't look very healthy, even though he was a United States Senator. Now, here's the good part about that. Just this week, the reason he's on my mind is just this week I was watching the NBA Finals. And he was in the crowd. He was actually, because he's a celebrity, they actually showed him sitting in the stands. And he actually looks a lot better. He lost weight. He decided while he may not have gone back to basketball, he might have gone back to sports. And he retired from the U.S. Senate, so he probably got a lot of money. So he probably has his own gym in his house. So anyway, so what's the message here? The message is the parents, we have to, as parents and grandparents, struggle to instill in our kids why they need to stay active for their health, for their mental health. Now, one of the things when you start too early with kids and they put all their eggs in one basket, you heard that saying? You put all your eggs in one basket? They say, oh, I want to be this, and they don't make it. They get rejected, they get depressed, and they actually get mental health issues.
Yeah.
And then they withdraw, and they, start doing all kind of crazy things, risky behaviors, and all kinds of stuff like that. And it affects them. So the psychological aspect of staying physically active. And while we love the 50-60% of the kids that are involved in youth sports here, we got to think of the other 40%. What are we doing for them? So that's the message, man.
Okay, but let's talk about because in university, this is the first I'm realizing that they have classes, bowling, walking, weightlifting for classes. But those are I was an athlete, so we do these things normally. But for the other 40% that don't, and they're trying to push that you can be active doing these things.
Yes.
Bowling, golf, racquetball, these kind of things. And that was an eye-opener for me, that you're actually pushing that physical activity as a subject, as a class.
And when I was in college, it was required. Physical education was required. You know what's happening in the United States now? It's not required anymore in college, and even in high schools. It's getting too expensive. And they're cutting back on requiring physical education because the emphasis now is on academics, that, they should spend all their time on academics. But they're forgetting that the physical activity is very important. So, but there are plenty of alternatives. For example, while we like to run, walking, the research shows that walking is just as good as running. that you can walk faster and for a longer period of time and get the best benefit without risk of injury. The same benefit you get from running with risk of injury because you're running on a hard surface. You see?
Yeah, and just on something that you were saying, like the specialized athlete, starting from early. Maybe the Senate guy, he was one that maybe started early and he was good enough to continue to get into the NBA. And now he doesn't like it. As in, at 50, he was like, man, I'm not bothering with
No, he actually said it frustrated him that he couldn't keep doing the same thing, that he couldn't play at that level anymore. So it actually seemed to be psychological for him, and I think that we have to think about that for ourselves. So again, preparing our kids for a lifetime of physical activity is what youth sports should be about. And the reason I wanted to talk about this topic today, about early specialization, is to warn parents about pushing their kids into early specialization.
Yeah, you're reading the mind of our producer.
Really?
Yeah, you're reading the mind of our producer.
That means in here, I thought I was the smartest one here, and it sounds like the producers are much smarter than I am.
All right, Dr. Wick, you're not only going to get questions from me, we have questions from viewers as well. So let's hear from a viewer. Warn the parents, because a number of parents of athletes would watch the show. Your message to them with overuse, in the athletes or the children or how on.
Yeah, so prepare your kids for a lifetime of activity by not starting them too early on specialization, before the age of 7, right? Mild activity, right? Vary the activity a lot. After the age of 7, you can specialize, let's say, during school, but during summer, you ought to diversify. Use different sports, 3-4 different sports to diversify, right? Pay attention to overuse injuries. So those shin splints I was talking about, by the way, we just heard from volleyball players, overhead injuries, shoulder injuries from volleyball, basketball. What about cricket? The bowlers. They're actually susceptible to spinal injuries because they plant that foot when they throw that ball really hard, and they're susceptible to spinal injuries. And those spinal injuries later make them susceptible to osteoarthritis of the spine and narrowing of the spinal canal from overgrowth of the tissues around the spinal cord.
You think when we're athletes and we're in our heyday, we don't emphasize that much.
No, and we're not thinking about it.
On what's going to happen after.
No, we want to play. Yeah. I wanted to play through it. Every time I got injured, I wanted to play through it. Now, that's the bad part. The good part is, if you watch sports on TV now, they are much more careful with their athletes. Probably because they're paying them so much. They're making so much money. I mean, not millions, tens of millions, and sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars, right?
Yeah, there's a protocol for every injury.
Yeah, exactly. So they're protecting them. That's actually good that the kids watching TV and the parents watching sports on TV see that they're not forcing people to play through those injuries like they probably did 50 or 60 or 70 years ago, because they didn't understand and because they weren't paying them that much, and so they were expendable. Yeah. Now they're not expendable.
Yeah, and I'm sure you know this. In baseball, there's a Tommy John surgery.
Oh yeah,
that would take two years and so to heal.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
You're like, wait, what?
Yeah, so, it's a tendon. It's a tendon in the elbow called the ulnar collateral ligament that gets damaged. By the way, I don't know much about cricket. You know, I'm not British. I'm not Caribbean. I'm American. So really, we know almost nothing about cricket. But I would imagine those bowlers have that can develop that Tommy John injury, just like the pitchers in American baseball. You heard of American baseball? You ever watch it?
Yeah, I mean, I went to school there, so I had to.
Okay, good.
And that's how I fell in love with American football as well.
Yeah. Oh, okay,
when I was
good.
in school.
Yeah. So yes, that Tommy John injury.
Yeah.
And kids now are having to have Tommy John surgeries that they've never had before. Again, why? Because of that specialization that they're being pushed into it. And everybody has the dream of making $10 million, $20 million, $30 million a year. But very few do.
Sorry. But they're saying, like in different sports, they're saying, like, you develop the technique at this age.
Yes.
And if you start at this age, your technique will get much better when you get here.
And there's some truth to that.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. That some people that start early, that do become those elite athletes, right, escape the injury thing.
Okay.
Escape the burnout thing. But how many of those are there? A small percentage.
Small percentage.
You see, a small percentage. So that's the message, man.
Are you sure? Are you positive?
I'm pretty sure.
All right. No, this is a question for me. Can parents avoid? I mean, is it? Yeah, you ask them to, but is it avoidable?
Yes, it's avoidable if you're aware. Only if you're aware of it.
Okay.
I mean, a parent. Unfortunately, parents live vicariously through their children.
Yes.
Don't they?
Yes, of course.
Don't they? I can't tell you. I have 3 boys, and I played on a national championship basketball team in the United States many years ago. Now my kids are in their 40s, right? But when they were teenagers, and I had connections with the NBA and various places, I knew a lot of people. And I would have loved for my kids to be, athletes, and they were athletic, right? But I tried to push them into training like I learned to train, because I wanted to get out of my home environment.
Okay.
I grew up without a father. My mother was a single mother. She had no money. So I really looked at sports as, I had this chance. And I really worked hard at it, because I really have no natural talent at all. It's all work. So I thought, okay, for my kids, this would be good. Plus I have connections. I'm going to get them in the NBA and all this. They played, but they never got into it. And I realized that at an early age. And so while we had some arguments about it, and they probably called me names about how mean a guy their father was by pushing them like that, I learned early to back off, that I was ruining my relationship with them by doing that. And so they didn't have it. It wasn't in their heart. It wasn't in their emotional makeup to want to do that. Now, when you ask them now in their 40s, don't they wish they would have listened to me then? When they see how much money people are making, they said, "Oh yeah, Dad, why didn't you push us more?" Yeah. So you can't win.
All right, let's go through some of these injuries here. In soccer, Osgood-Schlatter disease.
Yeah, Osgood-Schlatter disease. So the point is, when kids are growing, their tibia, the main shin bone of their body. Yeah.
I have a story to tell you. Go ahead.
Okay, has this tubercle on it. It's called the tubercle. It's the top of this bone that projects into the knee. And it gets inflamed, especially because the thigh muscle, the quadriceps, thigh muscle, with its tendon is rubbing over it. And so when that tubercle is too big, now why does the tubercle become too big? Because sometimes the growth of the bones doesn't match the growth of the tendons. In other words, they don't grow necessarily proportionally all the time. So when they grow disproportionately, you get too much of one and too little of the other, and they rub and they create this tendinitis, inflammation.
Yeah.
And
I think
did you have that?
Yeah, I think I had something like that in college.
Yeah, and sometimes and it usually goes away.
Yeah.
But if you overuse it, and if you're pushed too much, it won't go away, and it'll be there for life, and you would not have been successful.
You mentioned the tibia just now. At about
tell me your tibia. I want to hear your tibia story.
No. I shattered both the tibia and the tibia.
Oh wow!
Right. So I was facing this way, but my ankles were pointing this way.
And what sport? What were you doing?
Football. So I clashed with my own goalkeeper. Long story. We're not going to get into that part.
Oh, you mean soccer?
Soccer, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And they told me when it's mended, it will be stronger than it was before.
Yeah, that's possible. Sure. How old were you?
This was 2009. So I forgot. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, but this was 2009. But this was after.
So you were in your 30s.
Yeah. After university.
Let's see.
Just about.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
You're in your 40s now, right?
Started working. Yeah. Okay. Just touched 40. Don't be.
Oh, so you were still in your 20s. Okay, so you were in your 20s. So you were at the stage where the collagen, as I was talking about.
Yeah.
That heals the cartilage and heals the bone, can still get thicker from repeated action because it was organized. Now, had you started very early and injured yourself very early, that collagen would have been disorganized. Okay. And it's possible that it would not have healed the same way.
Makes sense. Swimming. There's...
Yeah, so again, swimming, you've got those overhead injuries, and also when you swim asymmetrically. So for example, butterfly stroke is symmetrical. Both arms and both legs are going at the same time. But when you're swimming the overhead, you know, we call it the crawl or freestyle, I guess they call it, right? Now, the left side of the body and the right side of the body are working opposite to each other, and it is twisting, and it makes people susceptible to scoliosis and all kinds of stuff like that. So, yeah, there are injuries even from swimming, even though your feet and you're not hitting the ground. It's not a weight-bearing exercise. So there's all kinds of things that you could do to your body if you overuse those parts.
All right. We spoke about shin splints and volleyball and basketball. Those are the other injuries. How can parents and coaches assess when early specialization is appropriate?
Well, early specialization is never appropriate. That's the message. In other words, you know, before the age of 7, so I said 7 to 12 is when you can start specializing, but it's got to be gradual.
Okay.
And you can't overdo it by pushing your kids, thinking that your kids are going to be that they're going to sign a contract and you're going to be their agent.
Yeah.
But by the way, that's every parent's dream.
Yeah.
Right?
That they have the next Kobe Bryant.
Exactly. Exactly. That's every parent's dream. So you can't push them too early. And that's the message. Early specialization is not good. Even specialization between the age of 7 and 12 is not good, because it is going to inhibit the synchronization, the muscle memory that you have to develop for synchronizing all the different muscle groups. Then you're more susceptible to these overuse injuries.
All right, final thought.
Final
thought.
Don't over-specialize. Don't specialize too early. Wait till your kids are 7 to 12 before you push them into any sport, any specific sport for any extended length of time. You can then, let's say during the school year, I was saying, let's say they're into football during the school year or basketball during the school year. That's good. But what about during the summer? You don't want them to keep playing basketball and football during the summer only. Now you get them into volleyball, you get them into swimming, you get them into track and field. And you also go out and play with them so you can stay fit too.
Yeah, I'm learning right now. I have a 3-year-old.
Oh, a 3-year-old.
He wants to run all the time.
Oh, okay. Good for you.
I'm not with the running. I'm not with the running at this time. All right. He's our doctor in the house. Everything you need to know on youth development, what hinders it, what helps it to go. And he's been talking to us. But Dr. Rick, thank you. A mouthful. Always.
My pleasure.
Nice
meeting you. Yes.
Always. And seeing you in the flesh for the first time.
I've seen you around, and I realize you're a celebrity.
I don't know about all of that. Here's Dr. Rick. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be right back with more. All right, that's all the time we have for this week episode of GN Sports Show. All you need to know from a young promising athlete to a coach or a parent. I'm sure you took something away from our episode this week. As I said, that's all the time we have this week. I am Terry Andrew, your host. Remember, do join us again for another presentation of the Generation Next Sports Show.
Interviews, insights, dreams taking flight. We show them how to handle the spotlight, preparing them for the journey ahead, building confidence, the words left unsaid. From the grassroots to the national scene, young athletes chasing every dream. In every game there's a story to tell. GN Sports Show, we know them well. GN Sports, where the youth lead the way. Champions of tomorrow making waves today. From ages 5 and up we help them grow. It's their time to shine on the GN Sports Show. Show. Interviews where the youth lead the way. Champions of tomorrow making waves today. From ages 5 and up we help them grow. It's their time to shine on the GN Sports Show. GN Sports, where the youth lead the way.